Foundation School of Medicine. Today we are going to test the sensory system. So while evaluating the sensory system, we have to test several kinds of sensation. The first one is pain and temperature, that is the spinothalamic tract. The second is position and vibration, that is posterior column, light touch, both of the pathways, and also some discriminative sensation. So while evaluating the sensory areas, there are some tips you have to keep in mind. The first is compare both sides of the body in symmetrical angle so that you can compare it with where the sensory loss is, the contralateral side or the ipsilateral side. The second one is for testing the pain, temperature and sensation. You have to keep in mind that you have to first go from distal areas to the proximal areas. Scatter the areas of sensation so that you can cover almost all the dermatomes. One suggested pattern is that you should include both your shoulders, both your lateral and medial aspect of the forearm, then the thumbs, the little fingers, then the front of the thigh, then medial and lateral aspect of the legs, and also the big toe and little fingers. The next one is to assess the vibration and position sensation. You have to keep in mind that first you have to test the fingers and feet, toes of your body. If there is normal sensation and position sensation, then you can freely assess that the other sensations are also normal. Also, while testing, vary your pace of the testing so that the patient doesn't get bored and does not fake the sensation or do not give you the fake reactions. Then the last one is if you find out that there is somewhere hypersensitivity or there is no sensitivity, mark the boundaries of that area. Hello Darshan, how are you?
I'm fine.
Do you have any numbness or pain in your body?
No.
So I will be testing your sensory components today. I will be using some sharp objects which can make you feel pain or can have discomfort. So it's okay for you?
Okay.
To test pain, we can use any sharp safety pin or object, the stick portion of broken cotton swab or any other tool. Always keep in mind that ask the patient to close his eyes before testing any of the sensory system. Apply the lightest pressure required for the stimulus. Also make sure you discard the pin or other device you are using on that patient to prevent transmitting a blood-borne infection. Ask the patient if it is dull or sharp. Close your eyes.
Dull. Dull. Sharp. 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 Dull. Dull. Dull.
Next is temperature test. So if pain sensations are normal, normally this test is omitted, but we will show you how this procedure is done. You have to take two test tubes or any two objects, one which is cold and the other which is hot, and ask the touch to the patient's any body part and ask the patient if it is hot or cold. Normally the patient can tell you what it is, what you feel. Close your eyes.
Cold. Hot. Hot. Cold.
Take a fine wisp of cotton and touch the skin lightly, avoiding pressure. Ask the patient to respond whenever a touch is felt. Close your eyes. Also compare one area with another area. Use a low-pitched tuning fork of 128 Hz. Tap it on the heel of your hand and place it firmly over distal interphalangeal joint of patient's finger, then over the interphalangeal joint of big toe. Ask what the patient feels. If vibration is impaired, then proceed to more proximal bony prominences. Next is proprioception. For this, grasp the patient's big toe in your index finger and your thumb and then move it up and downwards. Then ask the patient to close his eyes, and then ask the patient whether you are doing it upwards or downwards movement for the position sense in small arc.
Up, down, up, down, up, down.
Discriminative sensations, these are mainly dependent upon the position and touch sensation. So these are used only when we have to detect if the touch and position sensation are intact or they are impaired. So while detecting it with the sensory cortex, they correlate, analyze and interpret these sensations. Stereognosis. Stereognosis refers to the ability of the patient or person to identify the object just by feeling it. So we can use familiar objects like coin, paper, pen, paper clip to detect this sensation. Darshan, close your eyes. Now tell me what you feel it, okay? Identify the object.
Coin, mobile, pen,
Next is graphesthesia. Graphesthesia refers to identification of number we will be writing on palm or a patient's body surface. So ask the patient to identify what number you will be writing and use a blunt end to write it on the palm. Darshan, close your eyes. Identify what I will be writing, which number I will be writing, okay?
3, 4, 8.
Next is 2-point discrimination. Use two sharp ends or you can use a open paper clip to do this test. So ask the patient to close the eyes and the distance between the two objects should not be more than 5 millimeters. Close your eyes. Give your hand. Do this on the finger pad. Can you pinpoint the points? Can you feel both the points?
Yes.
Point localization. In point localization, briefly touch a patient's skin or a body part and then ask the patient to open eyes and pinpoint where you touched it. Close your eyes and tell me where I touched, okay? Extension. Stimulate one side of the body or simultaneously stimulate both parts of the body and then ask the patient where does he feel your touch. Close your eyes. Muscle stretch reflexes. For this, we will be requiring a reflex hammer. So to elicit a muscle stretch reflexes, you should be knowing the proper handling of the muscle reflex hammer. So while choosing it, choose the lightly weighted, that properly weighted reflex hammer so that you can briskly tap it on the tendon or whatever you are testing. Again, you should be knowing how to handle the reflex hammer. You should be not holding it too tightly or too loosely. You should be holding it in your index finger and your thumb, and your wrist should be extended, and you should elicit a response in very light way, like this. The reinforcement technique is used when patient's reflexes are symmetrically diminished or absent. This involves isometric contraction of other muscles for up to 10 seconds that may increase reflex activity. To reinforce the arm reflexes, ask the patient to clench his or her teeth and squeeze both knees together. If leg reflexes are diminished or absent, ask the patient to lock fingers and pull one hand against another. Tell the patient to pull just before you strike the patellar or Achilles tendon. To test the biceps reflex, the elbow should be partially flexed and the forearm pronated with the palm down. Place your thumb or finger firmly on the biceps tendon and aim the strike with the reflex hammer directly. Observe the flexion at the elbow and watch for and feel the contraction of the biceps muscle. Here, patient should be in sitting or supine position. Flex the patient's arm at the elbow with palm towards the body and pull it slightly across the chest. Strike the triceps tendon with direct blow. Watch for contraction of the triceps muscle and extension at the elbow. To test brachioradialis reflex, the patient's hand should rest on abdomen or the lap with the forearm partly pronated. Strike the radius with the point or flat edge of the reflex hammer about 1 to 2 inches above the wrist. Watch for flexion and supination of the forearm. To test the patellar reflex, the knee should be in flexion position. Briskly tap the patellar tendon just below the patella. Note the contraction of the quadriceps muscle with extension at the knee. Place your hand on the patient's anterior thigh so that you can feel this reflex. If patient is sitting, partially dorsiflex the foot at the ankle. Now strike the Achilles tendon and watch and feel for the plantar flexion at the ankle. When patient is lying down, flex one leg at both hip and knee and rotate it externally so that the lower leg rests across the opposite shin. Then dorsiflex the foot at the ankle and strike the Achilles tendon. If you find the reflexes to be hyperactive, test for ankle clonus. Support the knee in a partially flexed position. With other hand, dorsiflex and plantar flex a foot few times while encouraging the patient to relax. Then sharply dorsiflex the foot and maintain it in dorsiflexion. Look and feel for rhythmic oscillations between dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. Normally, the ankle does not react to this stimulus. To test abdominal reflexes, lightly or briskly stroke each side of the abdomen above the umbilicus and below the umbilicus. Use a key or a wooden end of the cotton tipped applicator or a tongue blade twisted and split it longitudinally. Note the contraction of abdominal muscles and movement of the umbilicus towards the stimulus. For plantar response, use a key or wooden end. Stroke the lateral aspect of the sole from heel to ball of the foot, curving it medially across the ball. Use the lightest stimulus needed to provoke the response. You can closely observe the movement of big toe, normally plantar flexion. To test anal reflex, use a pinprick. Lightly scratch the anus on both sides. Watch for reflex contraction of external anal sphincter, placing a gloved finger in the anus during testing.